how would you go about making a recommendation as to whether LinkedIn should launch a separate app for messaging? Welcome back to our Exponent BizOps interview series. My name is Mohammed Hussein. I work as a solutions architect at Dropbox. However, I do have some previous experience working in the BizOps realm. Today, I'm joined with Matrika, who works in BizOps. So I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Matrika, and I have joined BizOps fairly recently. I work at LinkedIn on the business operations side on our talent solutions business, and very excited to be here.
Awesome. So I'll just go ahead and get straight into the question. So putting on my interview mode cap. So the question that I'm going to be asking is, how would you go about making a recommendation as to whether LinkedIn should launch a separate app for messaging?
Awesome. Do we have a goal in mind for like a revenue target or anything that we want to hit?
I'll leave that open for you to decide.
Okay. Awesome. Can I take a couple of minutes to think about this, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Awesome. So our problem statement here is whether LinkedIn should launch a standalone messaging app or not. And the way I would go about thinking about this is in two broad buckets. One is economic considerations and then strategic considerations. And as the name suggests, in economic considerations, we would want to think about kind of the revenue and the cost side of it. How much will it take us to build a standalone app, and how much revenue we're going to get from it? And I'll go into detail on this more, but once I cover the rest of it. And on the strategic side, we want to think about kind of like our customers, how does it fit into our strategy, why we're doing it, and the overarching strategy behind having a standalone app altogether. So I'll stop there and go into the economic buckets, which is my first one is revenue and the second one's costs. So thinking about revenue, we want to think about the monetization strategy of this product. Why are we even building it? Do we have a monetization strategy? Is it just for like our product ecosystem? We need to figure that out. And then second, we need to understand kind of the market size, or how many of our existing customers are going to download this. So that will give us an indication of if we want to monetize it through ads or product promotions or something, then we would know kind of the target addressable market there. And on the cost side, we have the cost of first building the product, second, the cost of maintaining the product, and the third one is like the opportunity cost of working on building this product. So the first cost is the cost of building the product, which is we obviously need engineering resources to first build a product. We need go-to-market resources and marketing resources to get this product widespread. And then the cost of maintaining this, we need to understand the server costs. What are the costs in the 5 to 10 year horizon, and if it makes sense for us. And then on the opportunity cost side, whenever you're building a product or building a strategy, there is an opportunity cost associated with not working on something else that could be more important. So evaluating the opportunity cost for any strategy or any product is very important. And with the opportunity cost also comes the cannibalization cost. So will this cause us to decrease revenue from any other sector? For LinkedIn, it could be that people are spending less time on the feed and spending more time in messaging. And so if you're not on the feed, you're not seeing ads. So there is a cannibalization cost that we might need to associate with. Awesome. This is all my economic considerations that I've thought of. And then my strategic ones. First is kind of our customer base. Who are we looking at? Who is going to use our product? Looking at the most active messaging users right now and getting a gauge of how big is the pool and if it's even worth pursuing. The second one I would like to think about is competition, actually. So LinkedIn, just because of how unique our ecosystem is, we are the only professional social network, doesn't have direct competition. But when you think about social media, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. So thinking about like Facebook already does have a standalone app. So going into the competitive deep dive of why has Facebook launched a standalone app. They don't have ads there. So understanding the value proposition of whether that even makes sense for us. Yeah. And then the last one I would like to think about here is LinkedIn's overall strategy. How does a standalone app fit into our overall strategy and mission of creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce? And if that even makes sense. So yeah, these are all the considerations that I have, and happy to go into more detail if you need.
Yeah, I guess I would like to hear just a little bit more about some of the economic and strategic points, if you have that prepared.
Yeah, so on the revenue side, if we want to think about whether we want to monetize this product, we have to understand the drivers of revenue. It's usually like price times quantity. And for the sake of today's argument, I'm going to say that we're going to have an ads monetization model. So the price would be the cost per click or the cost per CPM that we're going to get from our customers. And that is through a bidding marketplace that every ads marketplace works efficiently in. And then the second side is the quantity aspect, which is essentially the volume of customers that are going to see the ads and the impressions, which is directly proportional to how many people are using the messaging app, the standalone app. So understanding that aspect would be important.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, or?
I mean, I'm happy to go over, like I said, price times quantity, but I know like there's like, I can go into more detail of drivers, like basically like our LinkedIn, how many customers we have, times the percentage of customers who use Messenger, like anything. Do you want me to go through those?
Yeah, you can go through those.
I think those would be helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Give me 1 second, then I haven't written it down before. Okay, awesome. So the other thing I would like to go into on the revenue side is the drivers for revenue, and price times quantity is the basic one. But if you want to go into more detail, the price will still remain the same, which is the cost per CPM. But if you want to go into the quantity, we start with the overall bucket first, which is the number of LinkedIn customers that we have. And then you want to see like how many, like the percentage of our existing customer base who would even download that. So say we have, I'm going to go with 100,000 customers, which is obviously not true because we have 800 million customers. But okay, so 100,000 customers, and then let's say only 10% of our customers would download the app. So that will give us 10,000 people would download the app. Now we want to know from here also the percentage of people who download the app who actually open the app. So say 5% of people actually open the app, or I'll keep it 10% for simplicity's sake. So that would bring us down to 1,000 people who would see the ads. And so that is the quantity. And with that, we would want to multiply how many ads we think we would show them on a regular basis. And that's a product decision. We cannot have too less ads. We would lose out on revenue, but too many ads would turn off customers. So the whole formula for that would be number of customers, existing customers, times the percentage of people who would download the app, times the percentage of people who are actively using the app, times the number of ads they would see on a weekly cadence.
Awesome. And one thing that I would actually like to know is, you mentioned using 10%. Why choose 10%? Why not 20%? Does the data show that it would be 10%? Or like, curious just to know how you got that number.
Yes, so I chose 10% for this example specifically for mathematics and like simplicity's sake. How I would actually do it in the interview is I would say, I think 10% would be a good number because we shouldn't be like thinking that 50% of our customers would actually be that engaged. And I would like pressure test that with my interviewer and say like, okay, does 10% make sense? Should we take 12%, 20%? So definitely like ballparking that against our previous download numbers. We already have the download numbers for how many people download LinkedIn or like the App Store. So benchmarking is very important, but usually for interviews, using the easiest numbers would be best. So 10% is the easiest number for anyone to use. And then if you want to like be more conservative and you want to use 5%, how you would like talk about it is saying 10% of 100,000 is 1,000. And so 5% would be half of that. So that would be 500 people. 5,000 people. So showing your thinking behind in the interview process and why you chose the numbers are very important.
Okay, awesome. So I guess I kind of want to go into just overall, like with the interview question and whatnot. How do you feel like you did? What are the things you think you did well, and what are the things that you would say that you'd want to improve on?
Yes. So I think I did well in kind of having very messy buckets and having clear distinctions between every aspect that I'm talking about. Something that I would probably go into more detail about or like be better at is when I'm talking about the drivers, not just saying like price times quantity. And I would like to get better at like customizing it for every strategy, like actually thinking about like saying cost per CPM times whatever, because price times quantity comes across as like I just memorize it and just saying it. That's something I would like to get better at for sure.
Okay, awesome. Anything else that you want to share, like any other tips before I give my feedback?
No, I would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that you did really good in sort of pitching, right? Or I've said this before in like previous interviews that I've hosted, but I think you did a really good job with sort of setting the agenda of how you're going to tackle the question. That's kind of me coming from sales. That's the way that I like to frame it. Instead of saying, stating your framework, you were able to give an overview or like an agenda of like, all right, I'm going to be going over this, and like this is my thought process from a bird's eye view, and then let's go ahead and dive right into that. I really liked how you did that. I also really liked how you asked like, oh, can I take a minute before I give my answer? That's something that's always really good to do. Allows you to gather your thoughts. And sometimes maybe the interviewer is even expecting you to possibly do that instead of jumping just straight into giving an answer, right? So it gives you time to kind of think and articulate your solution. And you didn't just do that once, you did that twice, right? When I asked you to go a little bit more into depth with when you came with the formula or the equation, you were like, oh, let me just take a second here. So I really like that you did that, not just once, but twice, right? Because I feel like people think that you're only allowed to do that in the beginning, but you should always be like, give me a sec. Let me think about that real quick, right? Sometimes maybe even thinking aloud might be helpful as well, right? I think one thing that you could improve on is sort of the pacing in how you give your answer, right? Because there were a lot of filler words. I mean, I probably used filler words even giving you the feedback as well. And one really good piece of advice that I got from my previous mentors and even managers is to talk slowly in general. Might get on people's nerves, but it really allows you to articulate yourself very well and avoid a lot of those filler words, right? Because you're becoming more cognizant of what you're saying. I think it also just helps sort of calm the nerves even when you're in an actual interview, is to just take your time, right? And go through and tackle each of the questions.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely could have done better at pacing myself. I found that
I think we all can.
Yeah. Awesome. Is there anything else that you wanna say? Any advice for anyone who's going into a BizOps interview, or they want to break into a BizOps role? Any advice or any tips that you want to give?
Yes. Case a lot. Case more than you think that you need, and focus more on the quality of the cases than just like jamming out cases. Live casing super important, and I think you should definitely get on board with like exponents. Like if you have mock interviews with coaches, that would be helpful.
Awesome. Yeah. And Exponent is a great resource, of course, not just for BizOps, but PM, software engineer, solutions architect, whatever you need. Exponent is a great resource to help out with that. But thank you so much for joining us in this mock interview. For those of you who are watching at home, please make sure to like, comment, of course, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who you think would find this to be helpful. But yeah, thanks a ton. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below to let us know that this video is valuable for you. And of course, check out hundreds more videos just like this at tryexponent.com. Thanks for watching and good luck on your upcoming interview.